About 4 million Syrians have fled violence and persecution. Refuge is often seen as a distant dream, but another 12,000 will now get a new life in Australia.
Our people will be true to our history as a place where those in fear of their life, women, children and families can rebuild and start again.
Single adult men are considered best able to look after themselves, but the intake is being seen as generous by those Liberal MPs and Labor who had suggested the figure of 10,000 refugees on top of Australia's existing annual intake of nearly 14,000.
The government's move as an expression of the generous, decent and open-hearted Australia that we all love and serve. Labor welcomes this decision.
That's the Australian way. When we see a problem, we roll up our sleeves and do what we can to help.
The Australian community have stood up and demanded action from their government and from their Prime Minister, and thank God for them.
The first refugees are likely to arrive in Australia by Christmas.
We do have to make all of these important checks, health, security, character.
They'll be given permanent residency. The total cost to the budget, about $700 million. They'll be selected from those registered as refugees in Turkey, Lebanon and Jordan.
There are Muslim minorities, Druze, Turkmen, Kurds. There are non-Muslim minorities, Christians.
Our compassion should pay no heed to the colour of a person's skin or the God they pray to.
The government has also committed an additional $44 million to support those still in limbo in refugee camps.
It's to provide basic equipment and support, shelter kits, clean, safe drinking water, food, support for women and girls.
The cause of this humanitarian crisis has been the spread of the ISIS terror group in the Middle East. Australia already conducts airstrikes on targets in Iraq, and as expected, the National Security Committee has approved a request from the US to expand those strikes onto Syrian targets as well. The legal argument is that to defend Iraq, Australia and allied forces, including the US, have to also strike targets on ISIS strongholds in Syria.
It is illegal for Australia to bomb in Syria. There is no UN imprimatur.
Labor's support is qualified.
Further, the government should formally notify the United Nations Security Council of our decision. It should agree to a parliamentary debate to explain the long-term strategy for Australia's role in Iraq.
For the Super Hornets already dropping bombs in Iraq, the change will be minimal.
They just take a 10-degree left turn when they go on task and they end up over Syria.
Australian planes will target ISIS in Syria, but even if successful, Allied forces are conscious of the potential power vacuum that Bashar al-Assad could fill.
Do we want Assad gone? Of course we do. Do our military operations contribute to that at this time? No, they don't.
Also, no plans for now for combat troops on the ground.
A victory looks like a region where regimes do not commit genocide against their own people and do not export terrorism to other countries.
A fight that shows no signs of ending any time soon. Tom Connell, Sky News, Canberra.